Anybody you can talk about in history that had to do with the Northwest, they were here. Whether it was Native Americans, Lewis and Clark, Hudson Bay, Oregon pioneers, everybody going east, they all came through here and they all had some story.
What's it feel like to keep that legacy alive?
Oh, yeah, it is cool. And that's what I've learned. See, I had no experience. I started as a deckhand when the boat was brand new with no water experience. I ran around in the woods out here and played by the river, but never on boats and all that stuff. So I learned right from here is everything I've learned. And what I noticed was a lot of the early guys had ran twin screws and boats with bow thrust. So they all had this feeling a boat should land a certain way. So they'd come over and try to land it, and they couldn't. They're having terrible guys with license. They could have had a terrible time landing it. So, but eventually we got a guy from Milwaukee, one of those six-packs guy, comes up here and he started, and I would work with him as a mate, and he showed that, hey, it's all about wind and current. All you got, you're flat bottom, you have 5-foot draft, you're just a big sail. So use the energy that's around you, whether water energy or wind energy, and all you got to do with your rudders, I can split the rudders, and what I do with the boat is make a sail out of it in the water, cutting in the water or wind, and I just come up and we got the Union Jack out here on the bow, and I just watch the flag. I get the wind to quarter me a little bit, and what I'll do is I'll just twist the boat back and forth to get the wind on the right way, and it lays in here perfectly. I could come in here and what a lot of people consider tough winds, and I could, if I'm focused, I'm going to let it right on there. Yeah. Now I do let people come to the wheel out. So if somebody's broken my concentration, I'll still get it in there, but it may not be as pretty as when I'm focused. When you're focused, because the wind changes on you. And if you aren't staying on top of what the wind's doing, the current, it's going to be consistent. In the springtime, it's rolling, and you can use the current some, but come summer, there is no current. It's all about the wind. And the wind, it gusts, it shifts, and so you gotta keep an eye on your flag and be ready. And from a lot of years out in here, I got a pretty good feel for when it's going to shift, when it's going to gut. It's the winds are for that day. I've got how it's going to blow that day. Yeah. So and you get it from the east or the west. East is the strongest one. West, I'll get 20, 30 mile an hour out of the west because you're getting blocked. That ridge out there, that is part of the landslides. That blocks a lot of the west wind, and the island blocks a lot of the west wind. But an east wind, we'll get 50, 60, 70 mile an hour. Yeah, east wind can get howling, and that's a tricky one. So an east wind, I just flip the boat. If it's an east wind landing, we turn around. I always put the bow into wherever the forces come, usually the strongest wind. So right now I'm set for a west wind, but if we were running out here and had an east wind going, the crew just would spin around and land into the east wind. It'll do, because there's a way that'll go, and if you treat it the way and do the things that you're supposed to do on it, it goes into landings great, it comes out of landings great. It's great to operate, yeah.
Amazing. 1850s technology.
But the base,
with modern day engines and
well, we're diesel electric now.
Yeah.
We were the first diesel electric stern wheeler built. So we have we started with Cummins. Now we have Cat generators, the straight 6-cylinder, 400 horsepower Cat with a 260 kW generator on. We parallel two of them, and then it's AC power we're generating. We change that to DC for propulsion, and then we have 200 horsepower DC motors driving the wheel through 65 to 1 reduction gear. But it's just wheel and rudders. There's no bow thruster, no propeller. So yes. I got to run this boat just the way they would have run it in the 1850s. So that's the other fun part of it, is because I knew this was the landing. In fact, during the gold rush, you had the Oregon Pony down here. The first steam locomotive of the Northwest is in our park here. And the Oregon Pony was brought in 1862 to move gold dust. That thing was, in today's dollars, that thing was moving over $100 million of gold dust through here a week. So those gold boats were landing right. This is where their landing was. They'd land in here, and the locks weren't here, and they'd put it on the Oregon Pony and portage it 5 miles around the rapids. The boats that would eventually that had worked its way down to the San Francisco Mint. So big gold rush. And yeah, all that gold came, in the early years, all came right through here on steamboats.